Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to a cast between two of the best players in the world. Limpia, aka Lin, the best orc player, and Colorful, who is top 3 Night Elf player. And I think he's number 2 behind Moon, but he's one spot ahead of Kaho. But it's debatable at times. So two of the best players showing us how the current meta is between Orc and Night Elf. And I find this particularly interesting because when I play competitive Warcraft 3 and I play on the high level ladder, I hate playing against Night Elf. I think they have it easier. I think it's imbalanced. I struggle with it. So it's nice to see a high level game between these two. And maybe I can learn a thing or two. So let's talk about the very first thing that happened here. This is a very obscure AI abuse mechanic. And in fact, I'm going to replay it for you just once more. Look at what happened here. Ancient of War creeping begins. Here. Archer pulls the turtles towards the AOW. The turtles are getting very near the AOW. The peon shows up. The peon goes home and the turtles zone in on the peon, imprinting on it. Why? Why are they chasing the peon instead of the archer or the AOW? This is costing Colorful a lot of time. Why is this happening? Well, this is actually having its root in a really ancient Blizzard design decision. When they designed the targeting priorities for creeps, they found that creeps should prioritize repairing workers. Why? Otherwise, you could build a tower, or you could build a great hole where turtles are, and then you could start repairing the tower. And then the turtles would be attacking the tower and the peons would be entirely safe, which is illogical because any normal human player would also focus repairing workers first, as they're a much easier target than attacking a tower. So if a human player would make that decision because it's smarter, Blizzard made the AI and smarter as well. And because of this, any repairing worker takes priority targeting over heroes, buildings, whether they are offensive or not. Like an offensive building is the tower or Ancient of War, and a non-offensive building is like a Moonwell. They will attack workers that are repairing over non-repairing workers. They'll attack them over heroes, over units, and over offensive buildings. Number 1 on the priority list. So what did Lin do here? What is he repairing? Well, as it turns out, the repairing status is global. So if you start the game by taking your scout peon and you're doing one hit on your Great Hall to allow yourself to gain the repair status, you can move your scout peon towards the enemy creep camp, be near, flash them a bit, and then you issue a repair command on your Great Hall at home. And then the turtles are walking away from the Ancient of War so that the Ancient of War can't get its huge damage in, which is actually removing the ability to creep it efficiently for the Night Elf. That is an insane level of AI manipulation that really only surfaced in the last probably 5 years or so. And the Warcraft 3 competitive history was mostly concentrated 15 years ago for a period of 10 years, or let's say 8 years. So for most of Warcraft 3's competitive history, this was not being utilized all that much. But people keep learning more, and most knowledge doesn't get lost, it gets passed on to the next players. And so that's why it can be so hard to enter a game late stage, because there's all these obscure tricks that you may not know about. But I'm here for you to try and teach you about some of them, so that you can use them in your games. There must be so many aspiring Warcraft 3 pro gamers watching this right now, am I right? But even if you're not, you can still be entertained by it, because these are the things that the top players are doing, and it's fun to watch it, even if you're not going to apply it yourself. Actually delayed Colorful a lot, so Lin is making use of that trick. Maybe I'll start doing it too, if I'm not too lazy or forgetful. So Colorful still made it to level 2. But had Lin not done it, he would have had level 2 and then some. So not bad at all. Lin is not using a lot of early tier 1 units to creep himself. He went for tier 2 pretty quickly. So he's looking to get his second hero quickly. Early Shadow Hunter or whatnot. I expect it to come out any second from now. He's got 2, maybe 3 grunts. I think it's 2 grunts and a peon. I think the peon is at the goblin shop. We've got the Beastery and the Totem coming out. There's the Shadow. Comes out a little earlier than Colorful's Keeper. I think the Keeper is probably halfway or so. I'm assuming it's going to be Keeper. We can see Colorful's going for Keeper and double Ancient of Lore. That means a good amount of Dryads. If it's double Lore before tier 3, you usually go a minimum of 4 Dryads. If it's like 1 Lore into tier 3 and then second Lore, it's usually 1 or 2 Dryads. 2 Lore into tier 3 is 4 plus. So Dryads into Bears is quite hard for Orc to deal with, because the initial Dryads establish map control and make Elf a little stronger in fights. And then when the Bears come out, they can heal everything that's been hurt. Moonwells initially heal you, but those run out, and then it turns to day, and that's when the Bears start coming out. So they become your source of healing. Lyn denied his own grunt, so that's no 60 XP to the Keeper. A hero needs 200 XP to level up, so 1 grunt is almost a third of it, so it's a very important deny. There's 2 forms of Dispel Orc can get. Well, 3 actually. Lightning Orb, attacking your own unit 6 times at a 15% chance of dispelling. But it hurts. Hurts a lot. Oh, it's 2 Dryads into double upgrade. So not the 4 Dryads. Okay. 2 Dryads into Bear Training and Abolish upgrade. So there's 2 kinds of Dispel you can get. Walkers or Shaman. Shaman comes out with Dispel like 3 times as fast. Because it's Shaman. Shaman trains faster than Walker, does not need an upgrade, and gets 1 Dispel. Walker comes out slower. Then you get the the Adept training, which takes time. Then you have Dispel, so it's a lot slower. But Walker, in a way, removes the need for Dispel a bit. Because of the Spirit Link. It just takes a lot longer for Elf to focus down a hero. A unit, I should say. Even if it is entangled and it is consigned to death, the Spirit Link will make it last a lot longer. But he's got to be careful. Another Raider's coming in. He actually sends it back. Oh, bad movement by Demon. He came back for no reason. Now that's the kind of replay I freaking hate to watch. In a competitive game between 2 top players. And this is me doing some proper ranting, yeah? About Elf being better than Orc. If that's what it takes for Orc to beat Elf, how is that balanced? The Demon level 2 came back with Town Portal in his hand and got hit for 3 seconds and then died without any lockdown, hex or ensnare. And then he still managed to stay around on this side of the map and got his Keeper killed as well. And another 2 archers probably. Imagine if Colorful wins this. I'm going to uninstall the game. But even if Lyn wins this, it'll be with very little satisfaction, because what a massive donation. What a massive donation by Colorful. If Elf wins, it's so despair. Yeah, this is a tough one to learn from, because the best Warcraft games, if you watch from the perspective of the one you're rooting for, in my case the Orc, are the ones that are like a good story, a good film, or a good movie, a good game, where the protagonist initially struggles, like Ichigo in Bleach, when he's always whining like a little bitch about, Kasar, I can't do it, I'm too weak, oh no, and he gets smacked from here to Africa, and then eventually he's like finally like, alright, Bankai, I guess. And then he ends up winning. That's a good story. It's a good story. Predictable after a while, but it's good because, you know, he was all bloodied and weak and pathetic, and eventually he wins.
So I heard you don't like donations. Kappa.
This one's okay, thanks man. And then, you know, he went through hardship to get here. Right? He's like, oh, Bankai. Wow, he's so strong now, he's so cool. But remember how tough it was? So I would prefer if Lyn lost his blade stupidly and then won. Those are the ones to learn from, coming back from behind. But let's see if Colorful is good from behind in the game. We get the first fight with the bears coming out. Raiders do take a lot of damage from bears. He's got 1 bear, 2 raiders lost already. Not an ideal fight. This is still despite everything. And I know it's crazy because we saw the demon and the keeper dying. We saw the archers dying. I know it's crazy. There should not be any chance for Colorful. But this is still the power spike moment for Colorful. Despite Lin probably forcing Colorful to retreat here. I would imagine. I would hope. And why is that? It's because 3 bears just finished master training. Orb of Venom just came out. And even though Lin had 9 population more, my rule for fighting against bears is usually having 1 Kodo at least. There's the Kodo. Imagine if he had waited for that Kodo beast, right? He has 10% more damage on everything, and he can eat one of the bears. But now Shadow no mana, Walker's no mana. Now you get stuck in this trap of going back and forth with the Night Elf. Of course, he can focus one with Ensnare. He can eat the other bear. So he eats a bear, it's not dead yet. There's a heal scroll, keeps the Raider alive a bit more. There could be a staff on that bear. So he hasn't killed any Night Elf units yet, and he has almost lost the Raider. He's eaten a nice Dryad shot on the Raider. He's eaten a bear, but it's going to take a long time to digest. That's all of the consumables for Lin. Bears are still hella tanky. It's nighttime, so Elf is regenning more. He's got Moonwells to fall back on. It's closer to Elf space. Good micro by Lin. Lin's still 3 population ahead. 4 is in the belly for the Kodo. He's gonna have to TP out. Or is he gonna buy another heal scroll? Yeah, he got the heal scroll. This is crazy. This really upsets me, actually. I watched Lin to be my Jesus, but instead he got charity given to him and he's still not launching his business. Let's see, is he going crit? Yeah, crit level 2. Is the orc Lin? Yes. There's TP on the demon. Oh no, don't lose the blade! No! Oh, it was so close. Alright, so now Night Elf heals for free from Moonwells and Rejuvenation. And Orc has to spend 140 for 2 Clarities, 200 for 2 heal salves, so that's 300. 340. And then you want to have a Speed Scroll and a Mana Pot. Speed Scroll is another 70, so that's 410. And then you want Mana Pot is another 150, that's 560. That's pretty much after every fight, Orc spends 560 gold to heal up, and Elf heals for free. Part of the reason why you can start with a 10 pop advantage. And then eventually, after every skirmish, 560 gold. Lin also used double heal scroll during the fight, which is another 500. And he used Invo Pot, which is another 150. So 560 plus 650, 1200 gold. All Colorful did is buy a TP. And a second orb now. Well, he didn't buy a TP, he didn't use it first, so he just lost it. So now you look at the army, even though Lin has an expansion, he still has a similar advantage as before, about 6 pop, 7 pop. And Raiders do not fight well into bears. They fight pretty good into Dryads, but it's hard to get to them because of the slows and the bears. The Kodo may still be digesting the bear. He really needs more Kodos as well. He needs to zone the Demon Hunter away from his shadow. That pretty much is it. He didn't even need to hex him. Demon is already surrounded. So that Shadow is not getting mana burned, which is nice. So he can do a heal wave now. He can hex. Uh-oh, no, the blade has no invul. So much damage. So much damage. Partially, the blade hurt himself with the Thorns aura. Lin did sneak off an expansion during this. I'm pretty sure he could not have afforded that expansion if he hadn't killed 2 heroes and 2 archers for free, basically. So normally you don't have an expo and you can see how money becomes an issue. But even now, his army has like 0 DPS. He cannot kill the demon with this entire army, let alone the 2 extra Dryads. But he's doing what he can, which is focusing bears. It's the only part where he really does have a lot of damage, which is against bears. Walkers do about 21 damage, which is doubled against bears because of the armor type. But the heroes are cleaning up. Colorful does not have an expo, but he doesn't need it. He's now 3 pop ahead. Yeah, how is Lin gonna get back from this? Another thing Orc doesn't usually do is Tavern Rebuy, because after you Tavern Rebuy, which is expensive, you also have to heal them extra because they come out with half life. You're not like Elf, you rebuy from Tavern, send them home with stuff, and then heal from Moonwell. I was looking at this for hope. Why should Lin take this fight? And why take any fights, right? He doesn't take that fight, he loses his place. You don't take fights in Warcraft, the opponent gets all the creeps. If Lin still wins now, that I would really love. I don't know how, because I think Demon is too tanky to kill. Demon's almost level 5, he's got evasion level 2, he's got a ring of protection, ring of regen, a circlet, and there's a staff on both heroes. There's thorns to deal additional damage to blade. And the bears and dryads have an armor upgrade. So everything is super tanky on Colorful's side, and everything hurts Lin so much because of the double orb of venom, the thorns, and the regular attack damage and the roar. He doesn't have a lot of consumables yet, Lin, and now he no longer has the benefit of an expansion, less gold in the bank. And it also doesn't make a lot of sense for Orc to make unit upgrades, because those 3 raiders, whether they have armor or attack upgrade, it doesn't make any difference against bears. 1 or 2 grunts, same thing, doesn't really make any difference. It's about the amount of Kodos you have, the amount of raiders you have, and the amount of walkers you have. Walkers also don't receive armor or attack upgrades. So I remember it used to be my strategy to upgrade my grunts and raiders 0-2, aka 2 armor upgrades. But the meta was a lot slower, you had more time. This was back in 2008. I think against Moon in WCG 2008 finals, we fought at like 65 population each, and I had 0-2 upgrades on raiders and grunts, and that helped make them quite tanky. But elves weren't doing like double orb of venom yet, they just got 1. And orb of venom stacks. And like I said, the meta was a bit slower. Neither player got to 65 pop this game, and unless you have that many grunts and raiders, there's no point upgrading them. Meanwhile, for Colorful there is that point, because every single Dryad and Bear does benefit from attack and armor, so he's got 1-1 right now. I'd be so pumped if Lin comes back and wins this one. Doesn't have heal scrolls, does have a really big invul. Demon is level 5, and that's 100... What is it, 140 mana burn these days after patch, or is it still 150? He can't let that mana burn his Shadow. Shadow has loads of mana. That's really high level healing wave. And he's also got a Rope of the Magi, which he can drop when he drinks the mana pot to make it more efficient. Get more mana out of it. If he can zone the demon away and get all of his healing waves off, Lin may have a chance. It's equal pop. He went straight for the Keeper, and Colorful was just like, nah man, I'll just TP out. Which is interesting. What's Colorful waiting for? What was he looking to avoid? So he TPs home. He loses the TP. He already had the invul on the demon. He could have kept the invul on the Keeper. He now gives away a small camp to the Blade Master. Could be something like Greater Healing Potion, which would be super useful. Oh, that's pretty good too. A little bit more creeping. Does he want Thorns level 3 before the actual fight? First points in Mirror Image. What did he get? Endurance Aura for the Keeper. That's pretty big. He got Crystal Ball. He immediately realized it must be an image. Now Wisps are coming. Maybe that's why he TP'd. He wanted to fight with Wisps. Ultra Vision allows Colorful to see Lin properly before Lin sees him. Not a lot of mana on the walkers. If those wisps detonate, it's going to be lights out. If the walkers avoid attacking demon, they're going to do pretty good damage. Those wisps are going to be very debilitating, and there are no heals. Oh, there's one heal scroll. There we go. Good healing wave. Kodos are getting some good devours in. Yo, this is a good fight by Lin. That peon there, you see that peon in the middle of the fight? Doing some good blocking. Huge healing waves coming in. Nice micro for the raiders. Still, I think it's too much. After getting all those devours and starting off quite well, it's still too much. Look at the health on the keeper and the demon. It's not being affected. If you ever wonder who's winning a fight, don't just look at number count. I have this rule. 10 seconds into the fight, see if either player's hero is hurt yet. The one whose hero is hurt and the other who's not, usually an indication of who's going to win the fight. Well, there we go. I don't prep watch replays before I cast them. I just watch. I think they're going to be good. And this one, I mean, it's okay, I guess. But really disappointing because I'm rooting for the orc. And I guess I'll quickly reinstall. I'll uninstall the game. And then I'm going to reinstall and then I'm going to play a bit. Thanks for watching. GG, sub to the grub.